guys ready for your next comic of the big show? Yes? Ladies and gentlemen, she's just happy to be here. Put your hands together and welcome Lia Richardson. Lia!
Oh my goodness. Hey guys, what's up? Hey, happy to be here. I'm Lia. I'm from Oregon. And, when I tell people that, they just assume I'm from Portland. But what they, but what they don't realize is that Portland is actually surrounded by a trailer park called the rest of Oregon. I'm from that part. And, I grew up in a super small town, and I have a mom who overshares. So everybody knew my business, right? So, if someone asked my mom how I was doing, she'd be like, oh, she's good. She's falling behind in math. And the next week, there'd be a rumor in town, like, did you hear Lia's retarded? Like, it's good times. Good times. I grew up in a super small town. Sometimes I get jealous of people from bigger cities because they can brag about certain things. Like the other day, my friend was like, I'm from New York, where we have a lot of great restaurants, so I know good sushi. And I was like, well, I'm from Forest Grove, where we have a lot of meth, so I know bad teeth. Like, it doesn't have the same ring to it. Trying to one-up her. Man, I didn't realize how redneck my family was till later in life. She gets it, she's nodding. Grew up in a redneck town. My parents are from West Virginia, so I come from a long line of hillbillies who play the banjo. And the other day I was bartending an event with this girl, and she was complaining to me about having small boobs. And I was like, hey, well, listen, when I was in the 6th grade, my Uncle Earl told me, any more than a mouthful's a waste. And she was like, oh my God, your uncle told you that? And I was like, oh my God, my uncle told me that. Like, that's really inappropriate. He also bought me a lot of skirts. Things you realize. Down the river, okay. Man, who's into self-development, self-help? I'm into it. I just did a self-empowerment seminar. I'm that person. And I got a lot from it. I did. But they really teach you to fully embrace all your strengths and all your weaknesses. And I don't know if that's always a good thing. I was at a fancy party last week, and I was the only person drinking Mountain Dew because I brought my own. And one of my friends, he was there, he's always giving me shit. He's like, you white trash bitch. And I was like, actually, I'm a powerful, courageous white trash bitch who's stepping into her power, who just so happens to do the do, I can have it all. What else? Damn, I have a deep voice for a girl, and I feel like it throws a lot of people off, right? I feel like they expect me to sound more like, let's get margaritas at the bungalow. But instead, I come in with let's put a bunch of eggs in the microwave, watch them burst out of their shells. That's more my vibe. It's interesting. Let's see. I'm a singer. I came to LA to sing, and for a while, I was seeing this voice coach who's really reputable, highly regarded in the industry. But she was very intense and patronizing, so I was torn. Because one day I messed up a scale, and she said, "How old are you?" And I was like, 28. And she said, well, I have 16-year-olds who can sing these scales perfectly, who are crushing it right now. And I was like, 16-year-olds can do a lot of things I can't do. Can we just focus on where I'm at? Look at you, you're 45 and still don't know how to talk to people. So, woo! All got shit to work on, lady. Thanks. It was awkward after I said that, but she added me on Facebook. I thought that was nice, considering how we left it. I live in LA, and LA is expensive, so I have a lot of odd jobs. And one of my odd jobs is babysitting, which feels a little weird at my age, but I'm still babysitting. And one thing I've noticed is when you spend a lot of time talking to kids, it can affect the way you talk to adults. I watch a 2-year-old, and the other day I met up with a girlfriend after work for coffee, and she was really upset, on the verge of tears. And I was like, oh my God, what's wrong? And she was like, John dumped me. And what slipped out of my mouth was, uh-oh. I was like, I'm so sorry, your relationship's all gone. And I don't even know if it's funny, but it's a great way to lose friends. And It's true. I also watch a 10-year-old, and she's super cute, really smart kid, but she's starting to show an interest in boys. And she talks to me about it. And the other day, she was like, I really like this boy in my class. He's kind of a jerk, but I like him anyway. And I was like, welcome to being a woman. We like assholes, especially ones that remind us of our dad. It's weird. And how do I prepare her for what's to come? Like, how do you explain ghosting to a 10-year-old? Like, enjoy playing hide and go seek now, because later, guys just like to play hide. And fun times. Fun times ahead, young one. Let's see. I used to be a full-time nanny, and I'm not anymore, thank God. And, when I was a full-time nanny, I felt like people spoke about it dismissively. Like, I told this one guy I was a nanny, and he was like, yeah, but are you looking for a real job? And I was like, oh, I'm just shaping the formative years of a child's life. It's pretty fucking real. Like, I don't know, maybe he was negging me. But we know what negging is, right? When the backhand, you get it, okay. And yeah, man, I actually got fired from my last nanny job. And when they were letting me go, I asked for feedback. I was like, so what's up? Like, where'd I go wrong? I'm curious, And they're like, you don't seem passionate about the job. And I was like, you mean raising your children? Like, are you passionate about this job? I'm just like, you could try it. It's hard. It's really hard. Yeah, man. They weren't bad people, though. They're very, very rich, very well off. And my boss would often vent to me about his problems. And I always had a hard time relating because our lives are so different. Like, one time he was like, ugh, I booked this olive oil tour in Tuscany. Now my wife wants to go to Capri instead. Can you believe it? And I was like, yeah, man, I know what you mean. Like, the other day, a rat chewed through my period panties. Life is hard, right? And that's not even a joke, unfortunately. Like, a rat legitimately chewed through all my underwear. It's a perverted rat. Yeah, man. Where do you go from there, I model on occasion. JCPenney, heard of it? No big deal. And I model, and one thing that bugs me is people forget that your body is connected to your feelings. I did a shoot recently with this photographer who I had worked with before, and she remembered me. And she was like, okay, Lia, before we get started, which eye is the saggy eye? And I was like, oh, didn't know I had a saggy eye, but I guess it's the one that's crying, so both. Both eyes. Yeah, it's a weird world, modeling. It's strange. Like, sometimes I feel like photographers are trying to be more of an artist than they really are. Like I did a shoot with this photographer who actually said to me, he's like, okay, Lia, imagine you're on the docks of Santorini and you've just said goodbye to your husband and you're watching as he sails off into the distance and all you can see is the blinding sun. And I was like, so squint? Like, is that, you want me to squint? Just say it. Yeah, man, being a woman's a trip. Am I right, ladies? It's weird. Being a woman's interesting. It's hard. Like, I don't even feel like I get to wear my own face every day. Like when I don't wear makeup, I look like a young British boy in an oil painting. I'm like, Papa, let's go swimming. Like, that's what it looks like. And you see it now, and I know you see it now. I pointed it out to my boyfriend when I took off my makeup. I was like, he's like, yeah, you're right. And I'm like, no, don't agree. You're supposed to be like, no, but you're supposed to lie to me. So yeah, being a woman's a trip. The titles of articles in women's magazines really bother me. She's already laughing, I love it. But yeah, the titles of articles in women's magazines are weird to me. I feel like they're always telling us what we're doing wrong. Like, you'll see these articles like 7 reasons you're driving him away and like how to please your man, And I feel like the titles of articles in men's magazines are so much more affirming, They're like, 7 reasons you don't even need this magazine, bro. You're killing it, It's like very different. And just once I would love to see an article in a men's magazine that's like, hey, maybe not all your ex-girlfriends are crazy. Maybe you're just a dick. It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. I mean, I'm in love. And, but before I get to that, let's talk about UTIs. Speaking of love, no, I'm kidding. I got a lot of UTIs with my ex, and they stopped happening with my new boyfriend. And I was talking to a girlfriend who had a similar experience with the guy, but then like all of her vagina issues went away when she met her husband. And it made me think like sometimes your body just rejects the wrong dick, you know? It's like your lady parts are trying to tell you like, run! This is not the dick for you! But your brain's like, ignore all the red flags, drink cranberry juice, he's definitely the one. And for guys, it's a little different, right? It's like, dude, think with your head, not with your dick. But for girls, it's like, don't think too much. Like, just trust that vagin-tuition, you know? Like, your North Star. But yeah, I'm in love, and I actually fell in love with my booty call, believe it or not. I was suppressing so many belches right now. I should just let one rip. I fell in love with my booty call, and you know, I really wasn't looking for love at that time. I was just looking for a rebound, you know, just trying to catch a D. You know what I'm saying? Vitamin D, and so like it was interesting to me, you know, when I caught the feelings, because like my texts changed over time. Like I went from saying "Hey, you up" to "Hey, you up for building a life together." Like that was where it went, and we live together now. I moved in with him, and it's a huge upgrade from my last place. My last place was a dump. Like I had bed bugs multiple times. I had rats. My place flooded. I had a stalker. His name's Cornelius. I think he's here tonight. And and like for real. And I'm always a little scared, you know. And one of my neighbors there had just been released from prison, and he would make me food randomly, and for some reason I would eat it. Very trusting. One night he made me what he called a prison-style burrito, which is basically a tortilla with crushed up flaming hot Cheetos and top ramen seasoning. And when I was eating it, I thought, this tastes how living here feels. It's awful. I hate it. That chapter's done. Yeah, man. And what else do I want to say about that? He's great. We live together. We're in love. And he's from here. He's from sunny Los Angeles. And I'm from gray and rainy Oregon, like I said. So we have different cures for depression. So if I'm depressed, he'll be like, babe, you should drink a kombucha. Go for a hike, you know? And my friends back home, they're like, you should drink bourbon under a bridge. So, you know? And he's like, you should listen to your therapist. And my friends back home are like, you should listen to Elliott Smith. And he'll be like, you should cut yourself some slack. And my friends back home are like, you should cut yourself. Like, sweet relief. Just kidding. And I'm going to leave you with that. You guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.